awesome you are. Taylor has been coaching for 11 months. She hit SC10 her first month, and she's an SC All-Star. She hit Diamond within 6 months of her coaching biz, 1-star for rank-wise, because Beachbody kind of does ranks a little bit differently, but she has 3 diamonds on one leg. So because of the way her diamonds are placed, she is technically only 1-star in rank, but she has 3 diamonds on her team. And that's all within 9 months. She matched her 8 to 5 salary within 6 months of coaching, and then she went full-time at 7 months. She's earned 2 diamond retreats. She's going to the SC20 or the SC trip for 2020 and 2021. And she will be going to NLC, the New Leadership Conference here. What is that, next week?
Yeah, in 2 days on Wednesday.
Yeah. And that was life-changing, game-changing. Emmy and I went last year, and it was so amazing. And she's pushing for elite and 10-star for this year for 2020. So you go ahead and take it away, girl. I'm so excited to hear from you.
Yay! Hi! I'm so happy to be on with you guys. Super exciting. It's like so funny hearing like someone share the things that I've accomplished, because I just feel like to me they're just like the next thing, I guess. So I'm just like always, I guess Nicole asked me and Emmy asked me to pop on this call to kind of share how I set my big goals and how I've been able to achieve these things, and just like the mindset and the belief and the habits and all the things that it takes to get to this place in my business, which is really exciting. So I've kind of written out a whole thing. I don't know if I'm going to follow it, but I've thought it through enough. So I'll just give a little introduction and background on who I am and kind of how I found coaching and how it's changed my life, and also now like some tips and tricks to help you implement in your business to find the same success. So, hi, my name is Taylor Tureskies. I live in Champaign, Illinois, and I've lived here basically my whole life. I'm 25. My birthday is in March. I'm an Aries. I really found coaching because I was looking for it, and I'm like that unicorn. I'm the person that like sends you a message, or maybe doesn't even send you the message, but just fills out your link in your bio and signs up. Like I was that person. So I found Amy. I had dabbled in network marketing before. I did Monate, which was like a hair product thing, but I was actually really successful with Monate, but I had hit a cap. And it was like, I was tired of selling a product, and like, you can only share enough before and after transformations of your hair. Like, it just is not that meaningful. It wasn't impactful. Like, yeah, it was awesome to help people like who struggled with their hair, but it just, like, I felt like something was missing. So I did the whole thing. Like, I went to college, I got a degree. My degree is in communications. I went to Illinois State University. And like, honesty, like I know that this will upset some people probably, but I don't really believe in the education system. And I would not have gotten a degree. I would not have if I had to go into debt for it, because I am like so financially driven, which is a huge part of why I love network marketing and why I love Beachbody and coaching. But like, I just wouldn't have done it. So basically what I'm getting at is I did what society told me to do. And I thought that I had found like my dream job. I always just kind of got by in school. I wasn't like a great student or anything. I really like, I put my heart and soul into things that I want to put my heart and soul into. But if I'm not like dead set and super passionate about it, I'm just not going to give it what it really deserves. And I don't really care like if other people don't approve of that. So I graduated with my degree in December of 2017. So I guess like 2 years ago. And I landed a job in fundraising as an event coordinator. And I honestly, like you guys, honestly, like I had an awesome team. I worked for an incredible organization. Like I really like, I kind of struggled with the fact that I wanted more because I had what a lot of people wish they could have. And I made okay money, but it just wasn't very fulfilling. And it was for a point of time, but I very quickly like outgrew it. So I was like fundraising for children who are who live in like residential and foster care. And I had a really special connection with those kids. But after a while, it was like, it sucked, like being in those meetings like every week, and like they were just dead end, and I was working with people who like just didn't relate to me, and they were like older, and I was working with an older donor population. I had to work a lot of evenings and weekends, as I mentioned, and just like the stress of managing events and fundraising, like I was way in over my head. Like I learned a lot that first year, but I quickly realized like working in an office 8 to 5 with no potential of a raise, I fundraised $20,000 additional dollars my first year at Cunningham where I worked, and I asked for a raise and I was laughed at. And that was kind of like my breaking point of like, okay, I'm gonna go work hard for myself, you know? And so then I found Amy, and I had not followed any other Beachbody coaches, so I didn't really know what it was, except for I was just telling my girls this today, I was following Kelsey Hill, but I didn't know if she was a Beachbody coach. So, and I also was not like, not my vibe. Like I'm not a college student. I didn't relate to her, but I was interested in what she was doing and super intrigued. So anyways, I found coaching. I signed up as a coach on February 27th of last year, and straight up went all in. Like I waited like a week to hear back from Amy and like get everything all set up and stuff. So like that was like the worst part of it, was like having to wait. Is that your anniversary too, Amy? No way, that's so funny. Oh no, okay, you're tired. But yeah, so I was just like, oh, your wedding, gotcha. I was so eager to get started. Like I'm the kind of person who, when I set my mind to something, I go all in, like all in. Okay. Oh yay. Happy coach anniversary so soon. That's exciting. So I'll kind of get into like my story and how my routine changed and how my life changed with coaching. But basically, like I was seeking out coaching not just for the financial opportunity, but also because like I was struggling in every single area of my life. So a lot of like coaches talk about how they were yo-yo dieters, or like maybe they were never consistent with exercising or didn't like exercising. That wasn't really my case. I loved exercising. Like I've always loved working out, but I have struggled with, I no longer struggle with, but in the past, my entire teenage and adult life, I struggled with eating disorders. I was bulimic in high school. I ended that like maybe my senior year, thank goodness. But then I just struggled with the aftermath of that, with emotional and binge eating for the rest of my adult life. And when I was in seasons of stress and when my relationship wasn't good, like I sought food for comfort. And it was really not even, like, it mostly was just this mental, like food literally controlled everything I did in my life. And it was like the worst feeling in the world to be so controlled by food, which is like, should be fuel, right? I saw it as my enemy. And so I was struggling a lot in that category. I was working out to the point that I felt like I had to spend hours in the gym, and I was injuring myself. Like I had multiple injuries in that past year from just over exercising and not following the proper workout programs and just doing way too much. I also didn't mention this, but I am a bar instructor. No longer. I gave that up because it didn't bring me joy anymore. But I also was teaching bar, and bar for me was just like, I loved it at first. It really taught me a lot. And it is partially almost why I even got into coaching, because I found bar and I found this love for fitness. And I, for a little while, thought that I wanted to become a full-time group fitness instructor, which is just like blows my mind now, because how much, I don't hate it. Like, I'm not going to say I hate teaching it, but like having to use your body to make money is the worst feeling in the world. And as a group fitness instructors, you're just not valued at the way that you should be. You're not paid very much. Like I was kind of feeling, I worked at like a high-end boutique studio, and I just felt like my students, some of them I vibed with, but for the most part, they just didn't appreciate me. And I like felt like I'd come to class, I'd put on this face, I was so bubbly, so motivational, and like they just, it's like you come every week, but like you don't act like you like me. And I was just sick of that. Like I wanted it to be reciprocated. I want to be around people who want to lift other people up and just be like a part of that community. And I just didn't feel that anymore with teaching bar. So that happened recently. But because of coaching, I was able to leave bar and had, you know, I think coaching has allowed me to step out of my comfort zone and recognize that like if something does not feel like it's serving you, or if it doesn't bring you joy, or like if there's any bad feelings, like let it go. Like that's okay. You don't have to hold on to those things. That is what life is about, learning and growing and stepping into new things. Like that really is the biggest thing for me. So that's kind of like my story and kind of how I've ended up here. I did mention a little bit about, you know, how I was struggling in all areas of my life. Well, my relationship was shit. I talk about this a decent amount. I don't talk about it very much anymore, but like my boyfriend and I, we've been together for 5 years, and the first like 3.5 years of our relationship were like our love is so strong and electric, but like we just battle so much. Like we're so much alike and also so different that like we had a really hard time, and we went through a lot of like hard transitions and coaching allowed me to step into me and to give me a purpose and something else to bring light into my life. Like this is mine. Like I don't have to like Brandon isn't the only thing that brings me happiness. And that was literally when everything changed in our relationship. Like coaching, I almost want to say like saved my relationship. It's bettered my relationship with my family, all the people around me. It's made me a better person. It's just done so much for my life. It has brought me community. I have never, like I tell my girls this all the time, and like now it seems weird because like I have this incredible community, and like some of my best friends, like Erin is on this call, she's one of my best friends because of coaching. And like I was that girl in high school that like did not have a close girl group. And I am like very like I am one way. Like I don't ever try to sugarcoat who I am. And so that doesn't really like jive well with groups of like popular girls who like all try to be the same and fit in with each other and like talk shit about each other. Like I just didn't vibe with that, and that wasn't who I was. So I never really found that group. And I always wanted that. And like at 25, it's like, I'm never going to find that. You know what I mean? It's so hard when you're like in a relationship and committed and like have your own life to like put yourself out there to find friends. And like the fact that coaching has allowed me to do that, like straight up changed my life. Like the friendship and community aspect of it. But then of course, like love you, Erin. Like the confidence, the purpose, the joy, the love, the creativity. Like I used to think I wasn't creative, and like I hate when I hear people say that now, because it's like everyone's creative in their own way, and coaching has allowed me to see like how I'm creative and how I can use like my tools and like my gifts to share that with the world and share that with other people. And most importantly, like coaching just has given me a life and a future I'm proud and excited of. Like I didn't have that before. I felt so stuck in my job. I felt like I was just doing the things that society tells you to do and like going along with it and like not causing a hiccup or whatever. And I'm so glad that I was able to step out of that and now get to where I am today. So I'm going to share with you guys 5 things that I think have led me to success and are the reason that I am where I am today, and are hopefully some tangible tools and tips and just little shifts that you can make in here to help you build your business and level up your life in all areas. Like coaching is one thing, you guys, but like if you can improve in coaching and if you can do these things and implement some of these things I'm talking to you about, like every area of your life will improve. So the 5 things that I'm going to talk about are developing unshakable belief in yourself, developing your brand, and how to not be vanilla. Always seeking out growth and discomfort and personal development. The importance of consistency and routine. And having no plan B. So those are the 5 things I'm going to talk to you about. And Erin says, except for Vanilla Shako, because yeah, you're 100% right. Vanilla Shako's my fave. Okay, do you guys need me to repeat that, or are we good? Let my recover. Bar blend is kicking my butt. I'm so sore all the time. Okay, so developing unshakable belief. You guys, I wish I could tell you that like I, before coaching, like didn't believe in myself and really struggled with confidence. But I would be lying if I told you that. Like I really would be. I always have had a strong sense of confidence and belief in myself. And I know like that's honestly like some people are like, I wish I had that, right? It's actually kind of like it's a battle and, or what is the word? A blessing and a curse, because having that strong confidence in yourself can oftentimes come off as being conceited, right? Like people are attracted to confidence, like they like it, but there's a fine line. And so a lot of the times I sometimes feel uncomfortable being confident in myself because other people aren't, and it makes them maybe dislike me, or and a lot of times that comes from their own things internally, but that's something I've really struggled. The piece of being confident that can be a struggle. So I have always had this confidence in myself. Now it has definitely grown, and I'm going to kind of go into the ways that it has grown. Like obviously mindset, personal development, I'm going to talk about that, how important it is. Like, yes, I have definitely grown in my confidence in the last year because of coaching, because I have found the thing that I was meant to do. Like if you're stuck in this box and in this place and it's not the box you're supposed to be in, right? Like, of course you're not going to feel confident in yourself. And if you're not taking care of your health, your physical, your mental health, your relationships, like your confidence is not going to soar. Like it's just a fact. Like if you are not giving 100% to your health journey and to your personal development journey, confidence is always going to be a struggle for you. So of course, like as coaches, that's our job. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but confidence and having an unshakable belief, it can be instilled and it can be trained, but it takes a ton of practice, you guys. Like it really does. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes consistency. It takes showing up every day, and like working out that like belief muscle almost. So I will also mention, so I said that I'm an Aries. So like, I do feel like there's a couple things that come into play with like belief in yourself, right? So if anyone's like a fan of the Enneagram, who likes the Enneagram? So like we all have like different characteristics that I truly believe we're born with. Like I believe in astrology and signs and all the things, like super hippy dippy, I know, but like I really do believe in it. And I think that some of us have, and of course like whatever your Enneagram is, like oftentimes again, like you have these strengths, but your strengths are equally your weaknesses, right? So like if there's something that's really positive about you, there's always a weakness to it. So I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm the achiever, and like yes, that's amazing. I am through and through like, yeah, I would love to know what type you guys are. I'm through and through the achiever. I'm so strongly goal oriented. Like I want to be the best. I want to achieve the most. Like I want to be super successful. I'm super financially driven. I'm all of those things, but you guys, like there is totally a downside to that, because that means that I'm a workaholic. I don't know when to stop. I'll work all hours of the day and I'll forget to eat. I'll forget to like take a minute away from the computer. Like there are all these things. So like as I'm talking about my goals and my achievements, like I also want to remind you that like it's not always like this like beautiful picture that is painted, right? Like there are a lot of struggles that I have too. So I think when it comes down to having this unshakable belief, I cannot stress how important it is, the words that you say to yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Because honestly, you guys, like you talk to yourself more than anybody else that you talk to, right? So like whatever that voice in your head is saying, like whoever that person is that's talking to you, that is going to have a huge influence on the way that you feel about yourself and that you perceive others, like how you perceive others perceive you. You guys know what I'm saying. So for me, of course, I'm saying like, yes, I have this belief in myself, but the things that have helped me, like we all have doubts, we all have negative beliefs, we all like have fears and worries. Like that's, we're human. Like there's nothing, if you don't have those things, there's something very wrong with you, right? So the things that have helped me kind of develop this strong belief in myself, especially when like in this place of like pushing for big goals. Like I thought diamond was this huge thing to hit. And now I'm just like diamond, well, and like diamond is huge. It's a huge accomplishment, but diamond means nothing if you don't do something after diamond, right? Like diamond I thought was the end all be all in my business. And I literally laugh now because I'm like, yeah, diamond is awesome. It's a great goal. And I have so many of my new coaches tell me their only goal for 2020 is diamond. And I'm like, girl, like there are so many things that come from diamond that you need to like, it's not just about hitting this rank in diamond. So you have to like set things additionally to diamond. So like for me, diamond meant like a certain income. It meant like the ability to potentially leave my job. It meant helping this many people a month. It meant building a bigger and stronger community. Like diamond means a lot more things. It meant like one step closer to this like future and this lifestyle that I'm building and creating for my family. But it comes down to, you guys, it really comes down to the voice inside your head. So for me, something that I love to do is positive affirmations. And these can be written or they can be spoken out loud. And I'm going to, again, talk to you a little bit more about like routine and how to implement these. But positive affirmations, like those things that you're saying to yourself, how you talk to yourself, is so, so powerful. And next up, like I would say actually the number one thing that has helped me achieve my goals and like keeps me on track and on freaking fire for everything that I want to achieve is visualization. It is the most powerful tool that you have. If you have big goals and dreams, you need to be visualizing every single day what it will feel like and look like to reach that goal. So I know this sounds really cheesy, but Brandon and I, my boyfriend, like first, and also I talk about my goals out loud all the time as if they've already happened. And Brandon, my boyfriend, he is like 110% on board and he loves coaching and he loves my girls and like he's coming on all the trips. I plan and hope to retire him this year from his job so he can go full time with coaching with me. But him and I often like laying in bed as we're making dinner, so he came to Summit with me. It was our first year. First time going to Summit. I was just a baby Emerald coach. Like I had no idea, but I was like, at that time, you guys, like I already, I mean, I started in March technically and Summit was in July. Like I was talking on my social media literally the first month about how I was going to quit my job and how I was going to earn 6 figures and how I was going to like build like I was literally already and retire my boyfriend. Like I was already talking about those things as if they had not as they had already happened, but I had no doubt that they would happen. So Aaron, Aaron actually joined me because of how strongly I believed in like the ability to achieve that. And like, I think I'm not really going to talk about this, but really like talking about your goals and dreams as if they've already happened and like manifesting that because it is so powerful. And I think so many people struggle with imposter syndrome. But when you're in a place of like, I literally just shared this podcast. I'm going to talk to you about my favorite podcast too. But when you're in a place that like you so strongly believe in what you're doing and like the gifts that you have to give, like you can never come from a place of imposter syndrome because you're just sharing your gift. You're just sharing like this thing that you're so excited about. So you have to come from that place and not be in this place of like, oh, what are other people going to think about me? Or like, oh, there's no way that I could actually do that. Like, no, you have to get out of that mindset. And again, we're going to talk about personal development. But anyways, I wanted to tell you about my visualization practice, and this is just like one of many. But Brandon and I, we were at Summit together. We experienced it together. It literally changed our entire life and our relationship. And I like don't say that lightly. It is like the most obviously the choosing to become a coach, but like the second most transformational thing in our relationship was us attending Summit together. I know it sounds really cheesy, but it's very real. Anyway, so you guys know, if you've been to Summit, how the coaches walk across the stage, and like as they're getting like announcing the big coaches and the teams, they like say their team out loud. Okay, so he's like really good at voice impersonating, like really, really good. He can do anybody. He's quite the character. But so he says it like what's his name? I should know his name, but the guy who presents it. Team Sunshine Daydreamers! Like, okay, that was not a very good impression. But you guys know, if you've been to Summit, like what that's like. And so him and I will like be in the kitchen or be in bed, and he'll say it like that, and we'll be talking about like the feelings and like what it'll be like to have my team there, and what it'll be like to be that top 10 coach getting recognized. Like, that literally, I visualize that feeling all of the time. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's like that visualization is so powerful. And it's not just that I visualize. It's like I visualize like getting, like, I can't wait to live in Florida. We're gonna move to Florida next year. Hopefully, maybe. We might actually just not move to Florida and like travel the world for a year. I don't know. We're like talking about different options. But I like visualize like the freedom and like what my life will look like. And I love writing, I love journaling. And so like I visualize like our dream home in Florida on the beach, and like waking up in the morning, and like what my morning routine will be like, and what it'll feel like to sit out on my beautiful patio and hear the waves, and like just like what my day will look and feel like, and what that one choice and what this hard work that I'm doing today, like how it will allow me to have a life of freedom, how like my partner won't have to go to a job that he hates, and work for a boss that is like terrible, and still to just like kind of get by, like you still aren't making enough to like really have the freedom that you want. So anyways, what I'm getting at is like just how important visualization is. So like whatever your goals or dreams are, like again, going back to like how some of my girls say like diamond is the only thing that's important. Like, no, you have to put feelings and situations and scenarios behind that one goal to help you like stay rooted in it, and like remember the why and the feeling, the emotion attached to the goal, and the things that you will achieve because of the goal. Okay. And then obviously talking about your goals and writing them out as if they've already happened. So like I do this all the time. And again, this kind of comes back to the like, is she confident or is she cocky as fuck, right? Like I hate it because I feel like people are like, God, this girl is just so cocky and whatever. But it's like, but when you have that strong belief and that strong confidence, and you like talk about your goals like they've already happened, you're so much more likely to achieve them. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard the statistic, but 42%, like you're 42% more likely to achieve a goal if you write it down. And I'm sure like, and then if you visualize it and attach emotion and like do that every day, like I'm sure it's even higher. So like that is so, so important. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think that's pretty much all the things. I'm like trying to read all the things I wrote. But yeah, I think like the belief in yourself is for me, especially the number one reason that I have achieved my goals. So you just have to let go of like what other people think, like worrying if people think you're being cocky, or like if like caring about what they think about what you post on social media. Like I didn't care for 1 second if people like saw me talking about my goals and dreams for my coaching business, if they thought like, oh, there's no way she could do that, or like, yeah, right, or like whatever. Like I truly, that just never even crossed my mind, because I so strongly believed in myself that it was possible, that like that was all I had to do, was just believe in myself, and it is possible. Okay, so we're gonna move on to developing a brand that is unique to you. And my favorite thing to say is don't be vanilla. So I say this to all my girls, and I guess like the meaning behind it is like it's okay to be different than everyone else. Like, you are unique, and like, you have something special. You have a special story to share. And like, if you hide that from other people, like, you're doing yourself and everyone else a disservice. Okay. So like, yeah, I am not vanilla. Like, Brandon likes to say I'm mint chocolate chip. I don't know why, but like, I don't care if other people don't like me. Like, if you don't like me, and like, I'm not your kind of vibe, or like whatever, that's totally okay, because like, I don't want everyone to like me. Like, I don't want everyone to get what I'm doing, because like, I feel like I have this little secret, and this like little secret sauce, and something really special that like, if not everyone's going to appreciate it, right? So like, don't be vanilla. Be whatever your favorite flavor is, and like, be that so like loudly and boldly and brightly that like, there's just no, like, you will attract the people that are your people. And that's all I want. So like, all you want is to attract people who are like you. And like, one of my favorite things to say is that when you are so completely yourself, you give other people permission to feel safe in themselves too. And I think that is like so powerful. Like, the fact that I was okay with stepping into like who I am and sharing who I am unapologetically, like, I now am giving other people permission to do the same thing. Okay, Brandon has texted me like 10 times, and now he's calling me because he's like, babe, what are you doing? Where are you at? Are you okay? 1 second. I have to tell him I'm okay. Babe, I'm on a team call. You knew that. That's why I'm not with you tonight. I have to go. I'm presenting. Bye. I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So be you. Like, you're you by being you. Like, you don't realize what kind of, like, when you are yourself, you're helping other people realize that it's safe for them to be themselves too. Let's see. Okay. So when it comes to developing your brand, when I first started as a coach, you guys, I did not think there was like really anything special about me. Like, I really didn't. I sat down to do like a color wheel and determining your brand, and it was so generic, like so generic. I'm like, okay, fitness lover, bar instructor, event coordinator, girlfriend. I'm not a dog mom, but like, you guys kind of get the idea. Like, it's very generic, right? I didn't see what was special in me, because I hadn't had this opportunity to grow and branch out and to become who I really am. And so what I want to tell you is, it's okay if in the beginning, like, that you don't know your brand, or like, you're still developing your brand, because like, your brand is ever changing, right? Like, it's always going to be changing. And that's a good thing, because that means you're attracting new people. You're growing as a person, you're learning more about yourself. Like, these are important things. So when it comes to developing your brand, like, you guys, you want to get specific. Like, if you're a nurse or if you're a teacher, like, you need to come up with like things that are specific to you that help you. So like, one example, I had like a teacher who was like, teacher. And I was like, well, no, you're a 4th grade math teacher, and like, you teach track. And so like, that's not very specific, but you guys kind of get the idea. Like, you just have to get more specific. If you're a nurse, like, what type of nursing do you do? And like, what are you passionate about when it comes to nursing? So like, there's lots of different ways to get more specific on your brand. But I want you to know, like, you are special. Like, I literally thought that I wasn't special and I didn't have anything unique to share. And I'm like, I'm just like anybody else. I am not just like anybody else. And I know that now. And I realize, like, the more that I see, like, the things that are different about me, the more I celebrate them. And I think a lot of the times, like, we as women tend to compare ourselves. And like, I know in the beginning of my coaching journey, I compared so much, because like, well, first of all, I was just learning. I was trying to learn from other coaches, and I was looking to them for inspiration and like, what should I share? Like, it's funny because like, Emmy was one of the other first coaches that I found because of Amy. And so then I started watching Emmy, and I'm like, would go to Emmy for inspiration and like other coaches. And like, it becomes easy to get into that comparison trap and start to, and also like take from like what other people are doing instead of like creating on your own. So one thing I love to say is create before you consume. And I really believe this strongly for myself when it comes to my business. I've found that my like niche, the thing that I love, that I'm passionate about, that I had no idea before, is I love writing. I love creating content. I love adding value. I love sharing inspiration and motivation. Like that is my all-time favorite thing of coaching, is like I love creating content. So you have to, like, I know when you're first like a new coach and you're new and you don't know what to share about and you're looking for whatever, like it is, yes, follow other coaches for inspiration and stuff, but you really have to like start to develop that brand of like how your voice sounds and like what is important to you and what speaks to you. So like for me, I'm going to talk about a little bit like personal development stuff, but like that really helps me come up with like, okay, so I read this and I interpreted it this way based on my personal experiences in my life. So I'm going to share it on how I interpreted it. But in the beginning, I would hear something and I would almost like need to share it word for word and like re-listen to it or reread it so I could write it differently but the same, because I didn't have my own voice. And like that is so important to like build your own voice, and you do that through building your brand and celebrating who you are instead of like comparing who you are or belittling who you are. And lastly, like your vibe attracts your tribe. And I said this, but like it's so real. Like again, going back to the don't be vanilla, like I don't want to attract vanilla to my team. I don't like vanilla people. Like that's just not how I am. I like people who have strong personalities, who are bright, who are determined, who are motivated, who are excited. Like I want to be around people who are like excited as fuck about going to the grocery store. Like that is like I love people who are excited. I want to be around people like that. That's the kind of energy I bring like to my everyday. I don't want to be around people who are just like going through the motions of life, and like I want to help those people get out of that and like find like what true passion and excitement is to have in their life. So like my team is made up of people who are like me, and I love that. Obviously we all have our own different unique skills. Erin on this call, she is the most like me, and she's my best friend because of it, because like we just get each other, and that's why she joined me, because she's equally motivated and on fire. And I will say, like, you guys asked me to share how I found them and like whatever. I mean, I think part of it is just being me and like sharing me, but like I just got lucky that like Erin joined me, kind of. But she's just so much like me. And so that's the thing, is like you want to work with the people who are like you. So like you don't want to just attract anybody, because then you're just wasting your time and spinning your wheels on like working with these people who you don't vibe with and like who aren't going to really give it everything that they've got. And like that's just not the kind of people you want to work with. So like anymore now, I'm so specific on my brand and who I am and the type of people I want to work with. Like I'm picky. I'm so picky. And I'm not saying like I turn coaches down, but I set high, strong standards for my team. And I'm like, if that's not something you vibe with, if that's not what you want, then I'm probably not the coach for you. Because like, yes, I will walk with you or run with you. I want to run, like I do want to run, but I'll walk with you, but I only want to work with the willing. Like there's so many coaches, like people who think they want to coach and like they don't actually want to do the work. So like I make it very clear, like I only want to work with people who work hard, who like are not afraid to share their story, like are willing to put in the work and do the personal development and like wake up at 5 a.m. if they have to. Like those are the people I want to work with. So that kind of help. I hope that kind of helps when it comes to developing your brand and like staying true to who you are. Okay, so I've talked a lot about mindset and personal development. And I just have to say, like, how cool is it that is our job to like work on ourselves? Like it really is the coolest thing ever. Best job ever. Like I'm a huge PD guru. Like I'm almost like that person that I should ask people if they want my advice, because like every time someone complains or says something to me, I like instantly want to give advice and I want to coach them through it and like share all this personal development insight. But like not everyone wants that. And specifically Brandon, my boyfriend, he does not usually want that. Like he just wants to be like, oh honey, it's okay. And I'm like, no, like there's an answer to this. We need to fix it. But truly, like for me, when it comes to personal development, like it's something I seek out all the time, like as if it was water. Like I literally, which I need actually, I listen to and read probably 4 to 6 hours of personal development on a 5-day basis. So like Monday through Friday when I'm like in my office, not doing other things. So when it comes to mindset and personal development, I really think like, obviously we're health coaches. It's so important to like do the workouts, follow the nutrition plan, get results. But you guys, if you are not developing your mindset muscle and working on personal development every single day, those things that you're doing don't matter. Like, I know that sounds really mean and harsh, but it's very true. Like, if like that is the number one issue I see with people who aren't successful in coaching and just in their lives in general, is that they aren't seeking out personal development. And if they are, they're not actually like putting it into practice. So like, if you're seeking it out and you're just like taking in all this information, but you're not putting it to action, like you're wasting your time. So it is so important to like actually implement the things that you're learning. Yeah, even 15 minutes a day. Like that's so true. So yeah, more is not better. That's not, I'm not saying that. Quantity over quality for sure. Even just 15 minutes of like undivided attention. And when I say that, I'm not kidding, because I know we all struggle with this. Like, let's be honest. We live our lives on our phone, right? Like I spend 9 hours a day on my phone. Like that is embarrassing to me, but it's real because I work hard and I do spend a ton of time working on my phone and from my phone. But it is so important to have like undivided attention, especially when it comes to like your routine, like your morning routine and your personal development. Like that, your phone needs to be off, away, on do not disturb, whatever. Like I love to do time lapse actually during my morning miracle morning, like my time in the morning, because it then I'm like not on my phone, and I know I'm not going to grab it. But I had gotten in such a bad habit. Like I sit down to do my PD and whatever in the morning, and it'd be an hour, and like I'd literally 30 minutes later had just responded to a bunch of messages and just sent out a bunch of invites or ended up scrolling and watching Amy's story to see how the babies were doing or like whatever, right? Like it's really easy to get caught into that. So it's so important, like when you are doing personal development and working on that mindset work, you need to be not distracted and truly invested in it. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to share with you guys my favorite podcast and my favorite books really quickly. So my favorite podcast currently is Empower Her podcast by Keisha Fitzgerald. If you have not heard that or read it, she is the freaking bomb. So Keisha is like super fiery and very excitable and very loud. So like when I first heard her, it was like, I don't know, but now I love her. So Keisha's the best. Scaling Up with Elizabeth Hartke. So these two people are both Beachbody coaches, but they don't like refer to Beachbody a lot. They've done a lot of other really successful things. But Keisha's is more of like a mindset, tangible tips to like help you. They're like shorter episodes, and then Scaling Up is more business related when it comes to growing like a business. And then I also love Make Chic Happen with Melanie Mitro and Katie Ersta. And then the Wake Up Call, that's on podcast too. And then the two that I like that are like not related, Zen Founder is one, and it's like a therapist who she talks a lot about mental health and like interviews some really cool people, gives a lot of great tips when it comes to mental health. That's something I'm really passionate about. And then Rise with Rachel Hollis, which like I don't honestly seek her out anymore because I've just kind of like Rachel Hollis up way too much in the beginning of my coaching journey, and now I like her, but she's not my favorite. Okay, and then books. So number one book that literally, like I just recently read, changed my entire opinion of our business and like what I'm planning and how I'm working, Build to Last with Keith Callahan. So this is an amazing book. If you're a new coach, it might not be like as powerful, but if you're a coach who's like growing into a leader, so like the stages you take as a coach are really wild and crazy. So like I became a coach for me, right? Like for my own personal journey. And now I'm leading a team of like 20 women plus. And it's like, you have to grow into a leader, and it's hard and it's scary, and it's like, I'm not always doing it right, and I don't know how to manage that, and like to put on my best face and to help my girls. Like it's a lot of stress and pressure, because like their success is dependent on my success. So like I have to give everything I have to them and be the best leader I can be. That book is a great book, to help you learn how to be a leader and to build leaders. You Are a Badass is like one of my faves. It's just like very much like me, like honest, blunt, real, and it's very funny. Everything's Figure Outable. I'm currently reading, I have like one chapter left. I will finish it tonight. So that one is awesome. The 10X rule is great for business growth and just life growth, and kind of getting out of the like just being normal mindset. Like I kind of hate normal. I think being normal sucks. Who wants to be normal? So that kind of helps you get into the like 1%, be the 1% person. And then lastly, Miracle Morning, which I'm going to finish and talk about this. So Miracle Morning, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the consistency and routine. And my morning routine is like so sacred to me. And when I first became a coach, I like have to give you this insight because I've changed a lot. Yeah, I've heard Be Obsessed or Be Average. I do want to read that next. So when I first joined as coach, I was the person who complained about not having time all the time. I also was like living to paycheck. My relationship sucked. Everything in my life was just like meh, not good. And when I became a coach, I got the book Miracle Morning, and I made a decision, because it's as simple as making a decision. I like want you guys to know that. Whatever you want to do, it's as simple as just deciding and doing, right? We get so caught up in the like what ifs and fear of failure and fear of, you just have to decide and just do it. And it's so freeing. Anyway, so I decided to start waking up at 5 a.m. But I was the person who would sleep in until 7:30 every single morning. I would hit snooze multiple times. I would rush off to work. I've always been really low maintenance when it comes to like makeup and hair and getting ready. So like I would literally get ready in 10 minutes and make my lunch, rush to work. I was literally always like 10 minutes late to work. And that was how my day started. Like my life controlled me. I had no control over my life. I let all the circumstances in my life control me. And no wonder I was unhappy, right? I took no time. Like, of course I had no time because I like literally wasted my time and wasn't smart and wasn't efficient. And then I would leave work and I would go to the gym. I would get dressed in the gym. I'd do an hour-long group fitness class. Stupid. And then I would chat probably with a few people and then I wouldn't get home until like 7 o'clock. So it was like my day was over. And by the time I sat down and had dinner, I had like 1 hour to myself, which wasn't even myself because it was me and Brandon's time. So I decided to start waking up at 5 a.m. and I just like made the decision. It wasn't like, I'm going to maybe do it. No, I did it. And I started reading Miracle Morning. Straight up changed my entire life. I keep saying that, but there's a couple really monumental things in my business and in my life, and that book is definitely one of them. I love that book. It is so good. So much can be achieved in the morning, and like it instilled like this sacred morning routine that now has helped me get to where I am in my business. Like if I did not have this morning routine that I've implemented, that it like I hold so close and dear to my heart, like I would not be where I am in my business, because like that time in the morning that I give to myself, that I set aside for my day to set the tone for my day, to prepare for my day, like to have time for me to read and to like let my brain be creative before I dive into work, before I slave all day at work, because literally I still do work like 80 hours a week. I do way too much. It's stupid at this point. But like if I didn't have that, I would not be where I am. So when it comes to setting a morning routine, it is so, so important to set something that brings you joy and that help you like build and get to where you want to go. So like for me, of course, like it looked different then. So you guys know I like left my full-time job, but I was working 8 to 5 full-time job. And then I started coaching. So like my routine looked a lot different then than it looks today. And I think it's really easy when you're like where you are. And if you do want to go full-time with coaching and you do want to like pursue that, it's like easy to get caught up in the like, oh, how glamorous being full-time coaching is. Because I kind of let that happen too. But honestly, it's about making that time and it's about setting the routine. So like when I first started, I would wake up at 5, I'd spend 5 to 7 on my coaching business. So I would like read my Miracle Morning, I would get my coaching work done. So that was probably like creating my posts, sending invites, connecting on new people's pages, because it looked very different then than it looks now, obviously, because I wasn't running like a big business. And then I would work out because that's my business. And then I'd share my workout videos. And then as it started to grow, well, at that time I started waking up at like 4 a.m. because I needed more time in my day. But I also was working over my lunch break. Like every single lunch break was spent towards coaching. And then I didn't like to do coaching in the evening because like that was Brandon and I's time. So I did it in the morning on my lunch break. And then obviously as it grew, it kind of got to a place of I don't feel like I can continue to grow this and find joy in what I'm doing in both jobs if I stay at my full-time job. So I left because I had built a stable income to get to that place. Let's see. So yeah. So going back to like the routine and finding something that brings you joy. So I'm kind of talking, I'm a little all over the place with this, but basically implementing a morning routine is so important and having the consistency of it. So like if you don't already, if you're someone who like does hit snooze a lot and you sleep in, which I know most of you aren't because I see you on social media earlier than I am. But if you are someone who does that, like you have to read Miracle Morning or reread it if you're struggling with your morning routine, because you have to make that a priority. And when you set that time aside in your day, like I love to say, like you can't pour from an empty cup. And I have noticed like if I one time in the last like 6 months skipped my morning routine on a Monday through Friday, and it totally effed my whole day. It was this last Friday. I felt terrible. I had like an anxiety attack, a mental breakdown, like, but it was because I started my morning with fueling into other people, and then I let my work like get so caught up in my work that I never took a minute for me. And then like I started my day at 6 a.m. and I realized at like 4 p.m. that I had not taken one step away from my computer and my work for me. That is not healthy. That is not okay. You have to find that time and make that time for you. You have to be selfish with your time. Like it is so much. Yeah, exactly. Like when you fill your cup, you can be a better mom, you can be a better partner, you can be a better employee. Like you can, if you give to you, that's when you can be the best for other people. And some people make the excuse like, yeah, I don't have time, I can't do those things for me. It's like, that is just such BS. Like it just is funny to me. The biggest thing is like excuses are stories that you're telling yourself, and you're just like repeating these old self-sabotaging stories, and they need to just be replaced with stories that serve you and are better than like that create new and better, healthier habits that are serving you. Okay, so I'm kind of all over the place with that, but you guys get what I'm saying. Consistency, routine, how important that is. And I know like waking up, yeah, at 5 a.m. is hard, but like you have to find a way that you can make it exciting. So like for me, a quick tip, like what I would do, because it was too hard. I was tired. I was used to sleeping until 7 and it's dark at 5 in the morning. That sucks. Still sucks. I still wake up when it's dark. But for me, like my favorite thing to do to help me get out of bed early in the morning, which I am super goal oriented, so I don't know how this works for other people, but I would write my top tasks down the night before, like what I was going to work on that morning. And I'd also write down my goals. So I literally before bed, it was the last thing I'd do is like write down my goals and like what I was going to work on that next morning to help me reach my goals. And that was really, really motivating to like, I instantly got my ass out of bed. Like I just did, because that's how important they are to me. Okay. So lastly, I want to talk about no plan B, and then we'll wrap this up really quick. I know we're almost at our thing. Okay, so no plan B, like I think this is huge because so many people, like, they need that safety net. They need that comfort zone. And I get it. Like, I'm single, right? I only have to take care of me. So it's totally different if you're like a mom or you have a family or like you have something else, people that rely on you, right? So like for me, leaving my 8 to 5 was the scariest thing I've ever done. Like, it doesn't matter if it's just me that I was being there for, or like, if no matter what happened, it was going to be okay. Right. So I left the security of my 8 to 5. And like, did I have it all figured out? Definitely not. I had no idea. It was really just like a learn as you go, figure it out as you go. I had no idea how to like get insurance and like benefits, or I guess I don't get benefits. That's not insurance, 401k, all of those things, how to navigate that. And like, yeah, of course, I was terrified. It was scary. Like, it was honestly the hardest decision I ever made. It was the scariest decision I ever made. But it was the most rewarding decision I ever made. So like, nothing worth having is going to come within your comfort zone. Like, it's just so true. As soon as I made that decision and I stepped out of my comfort zone was when I really started living my life. Like, before, you guys, again, I told you, like, I don't know if I did tell you, I left my office every single day for those last like 2 months when I had kind of made the decision, but I was too afraid to go for it. Like, I knew in my heart that I needed to leave because I wasn't happy there. And it was like bringing me down and hurting all other areas of my life. My mental health was at the all-time low, but like, I was so scared. And so like, when I decided to leave and I told them, like, I was still leaving the office like bawling every day. But when I finally told them, it felt like this huge weight was lifted. Like, I literally felt like a million tons were taken off my chest. Like, that's how anxious and like depressed I felt, because I was carrying this around knowing that I was in the wrong place, but I just stayed there because I was too afraid. And then when I stepped out of that comfort zone was when like literally manifested all the things that I wanted for my life. But so really, you guys, like, you have to just stay curious and continue to seek out discomfort, because discomfort is like, yes, it's scary, but like, again, nothing good comes from that comfort zone. Like, those big goals and dreams you have, they're not going to happen if you stay comfortable, like, and you are afraid of fear and afraid of other people's opinions. So you have to ask questions and always be seeking out new and like curiosity, I think, is a huge part. Like, always be curious, always be trying to learn, always be seeking out new information, new ways to grow. And my favorite tip, like, when it comes to like doing something big and scary out of your comfort zone, like that no plan B, like, I'm just gonna do it. Worst case versus best case scenario, right? So like, this is something my mom taught me. She's always like, Taylor, pros and cons, outweigh them out, whatever. So it's like your worst case versus your best case. Like, when it comes to something scary and big and whatever it is in your life, you have to, like, if you're thinking about leaving your job, right? So like, for me, I was like, is this crazy? Like, am I crazy? Yes, I am. That was kind of crazy thing to do. But like, what's the worst case scenario, right? So worst case scenario for me, like, I'm so financially driven, and so like, I want to be so secure financially that like, for me, it was like not being able to pay my bills, like stressing about money and whatever. But like, honestly, I'm gonna stress about money no matter what. Like, that's just my kind of personality. And even when you have a lot of money, you're still stressed about money. So it's just like something you kind of have to get used to. But like, worst case scenario would be like, I have to ask my mom and dad to help me. Like, that is worst. Like, in worst case scenario is not that I end up homeless and on the streets and like I can't pay my power bill. Like, that is not gonna happen, right? Nobody in my life would let that happen. So best case scenario then is like, I find joy in my everyday. I get to work from home. I get to build a life I love. I get to inspire and help other people. I get to create. And like, those are the things that are best case scenario. And it's like, of course, like, worst case scenario was not worse than where I currently was. Like, leaving my office in tears every single day, coming home and bawling on Brandon's shoulder because I felt that terrible in where I currently was. Like, nothing was worse than that. So it's like, you have to outweigh kind of like worst case, best case scenario. And then you realize, like, it's not, the worst case scenario isn't as bad as you make it up in your head. And like, it's probably better than what would happen if you stayed where you were. So, really like, this kind of leads into a little bit of like my goals for the year and like how I'm pushing for those goals. And for me, like, again, this belief, this no plan B, this no plan B all comes down to the beliefs that you have in yourself. And when you don't set a plan B and you're like, this is going to happen, I am going to do this, like, that is, again, those types of, that way that you talk to yourself to get you in that state of actually reaching and achieving your goals. So like, that is really for me how I'm manifesting like these goals that I have. Like, so for me, 10-star diamond by the end of this year, and I want to be a top 10 coach next year. Like, those are things that I plan to do, and I have no doubt in my mind that I can do. Now I am learning with coaching that things like, even though I'm moving really fast, I'm not moving as fast as I want to. So sometimes timing, like, you can't do anything about it, but you have to just bring that in and manifest the things that you want in your life. And it all comes down to that mindset and those things that you do consistently and those routines that you're implementing, and the belief that you have in yourself. So that is really it. I will say, you guys, hard work plus no excuses will get you the things that you want in your life. So it really all comes down to working hard and not making excuses for yourself. And Nicole says, shoot for the moon and you'll still land amongst the stars. And that's so true. So good. So if you guys have any questions or whatever, but so fun to chat with you tonight.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Seriously, you are, I want to say firecracker, but I feel like my mother-in-law calls me that, and it's not always a good thing, but I just love your fire. And I kind of have a story that I'm just a little like nervous to admit, but like meeting you at Summit, I was the girl like, who the hell does this Taylor girl think she is? Like, who is she? Like, I've been a coach on Amy's team for so long, and she's just like bomb and just like doing all these things. But obviously that confidence has gotten you to where you are, and those are your goals. And you continue to be you, because now, like, here I am, like, Taylor, talk to my girls, because I want, even if we have different goals, like, I want all of us to have that type of confidence to go with what we want in our life. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's amazing. And obviously, like you said, I had something wrong with myself when I was like, who the heck does this girl think she is? But you're amazing. Love you. Like, love everything about this call. If anyone has any questions, like, we do have a couple minutes. I know it's kind of been a longer call. But again, thank you so much. You're amazing.
I love that you say that, because I tell my girls that I like felt that in the beginning. I'm like, I think that they're all like, who the fuck is this girl? Like, who does she think she is? Because I knew that was the case, because they're like, we've been doing this for a minute. Like, who is she? Right? So yeah, but it's like, but I just want to help other people, and I want to share that with other people, because I think it does, like, a huge part of it is that belief. So I appreciate you saying that, and now for like welcoming me and like celebrating me for being who I am.
Of course. And I think that's so incredible that you had that from the get-go, because so many people work a really long ass time to get there, and just to have that from the gate, like,
I know,
go for it. Like, you know, who are we to stop you for going for your goals? We shouldn't be. So,
well, and I think truly, like, the people you surround yourself with, like, they should always be better than you. So, like, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are pushing for bigger goals than you, and like, who are confident and excited, 100%. Like, hopefully that can bring up the group, like, when they see me saying like, yeah, I'm a 1-year coach and I'm pushing for top 10 next year. Like, right. You know, hopefully that instills them to want to do that. And like,
definitely 100%.
So. Well, thanks for having me so much.
Thanks again for hopping on.
Guys.
Doesn't look like anyone has any questions, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks again, Taylor. Keep being that fire.
Yep. All right. You guys have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.